My mom recently bought my kids their own piggy bank. They're starting to learn about money, and we thought this was a good way for them to save and put it away and educate them. My son doesn't know much, but he does know that he likes paper money better than coins. Don't we all? I'm going to dive into some techniques, strategies, my advice on educating kids and dealing with them, and whether this be nieces, nephews too, for your aunts, if you're an aunt, or just even some of your adult kids. I've got some points there too. The first one is allowance. According to Hero Price, 75% of children receive an allowance. And of those 75% of kids, 66% of them are tied to chores. I'm willing to bet that over time in a household, that the allowance gets paid whether the kids do the chores or not. The fight is too big to not give them their money. Like, you just have this big blow up. Also, in every house, in everyday living, there's certain things you're going to have to do in life. You're going to have to do the dishes. You're going to have to do your laundry. You're going to have to clean up your room. And so my advice is to have the daily tasks that just everyone has to do just for living. You don't pay for them, but you pay for the one-off. So maybe it's mowing the lawn. Maybe it's pulling weeds. Maybe it's washing the car. Some of these bigger items that you pay for that, and that's a reward system for them. Speaking of mowing the lawn, I would encourage you, if you've got kids, to start maybe a small business, going around to your neighbors and seeing if the kids would mow the lawn. It teaches responsibility. It teaches the appreciation for working for money, and also you're going to benefit. There's a lot of seniors in your neighborhood that just aren't able to keep up with their property. So if you're mowing their lawn, that is a great blessing to them, and they'll gladly pay for it. I'm going to talk to you about gifts. And so what happens when your child gets money? Do they get just to spend it all? Do they have to save some of it? And having a plan in place for that, I think is really important. And so that they, maybe some of it's put away for their university education. I benefited from that. My mom, I didn't know this, but whenever birthday money came in, she put it in my bank account, but some of it went into a GIC. And then when I went to university, I had some extra money that I was able to go through university with. And then let's talk about giving. So one of the ways to battle greed is to be generous. And so we've all told the story to our kids about the starving children in Africa. You should finish your food because they don't have any. Well, what about showing them people less fortunate? Maybe giving them the opportunity to give out of their own money to helping other kids that aren't doing as well. My kids' school does a trip to Mexico each year where they go and they help out a local community there, and that's a way for teenagers just to see the world that, hey, they're in a very nice area and they live in a nice city, and no matter where they are on the standing, there's people that are less fortunate to them. Let's talk about toys. Our family has way too many toys. We need to get rid of the toys. And research is going to back this up, is that kids who have less toys actually have a better appreciation for them. They enjoy playing with them more. If you're saying like, hey, we got too many toys, why don't you just declutter them? Take them, put them in another room, put them in a bag, put them in the closet. Just think about it. When you were a kid, how many toys did you have? Were you unhappy? I'm willing to bet you're probably pretty happy. You just talk about we had a stick and we got to play in the backyard and really happy. So talk about toys. And then when you're buying toys for your kids, for your friends, whoever, are you buying new toys every time? Do the kids expect new toys every time? What about buying used toys? Number one, it's good for your pocketbook. And number two, it's good for the environment. But number three, it's for them that they don't just appreciate they got this brand new toy all the time. Getting a used toy is a great way to do it. And we do that with our kids at Christmas time. Some of their toys are used. That's just the way it is. Now let's talk about adult children. Are you still paying for their cell phone bill? If you're a parent, are you still paying for your adult children's cell phone bill? Is that teaching them responsibility? What's your plan if they get in trouble financially? Or what have you done when they've been in trouble financially before? Having a plan in place so that when your kids get into trouble, and are you going to bail them out? And if you bail them out, what are you teaching them? You're going to teach them that they can be fiscally irresponsible, and that when they get into trouble, you're going to bail them out. And what's the saying? Teach a person to fish. They eat for their lifetime, and give them a fish and they just eat for that day. So think about that. I'd love to hear your parenting tips and your strategies on this matter.